So now, another technique for dealing with tomatillos is what we call an entomatado. So we had a couple of pieces of chicken browning here, which I'm going to take away from here. You can do this with pork, with beef, with many things. I think there's missing a little bit of oil in here, so we're going to add some. We're going to add the sliced onions. Okay. Now in the same pot that the chicken has browned, so the onions are going to start getting a little bit of that, picking up that caramelized bottom of the pan from the chicken, which is already starting to smell wonderful. We're going to do chopped garlic, and then we're going to add the tomatillos like this. So what we're going to end up with at the end is almost like a compote of tomatillos. Fascinating and very good. And then those pieces of meat come right back into the sauce to cook into the sauce. So the onions have sweat. We add a little bit of the garlic. Okay. Always a little bit of salt first. I always like to add salt in the different stages. So you end up using a lot less salt if you do that. Not just at the end add a big amount of salt that the whole thing needed it, you know. If you start building it, you use a lot less salt and you get more out of it. It's a more efficient use of salt. Then you're going to add the tomatillos cut up. And we are just going to wait until this starts to melt down and break. We're going to add a little bit of honey. And chipotle. But surprise, you don't have to work too hard. We're going to add chipotle from a can. This is a can of chipotles in the blender. That's called chipotle puree. In many Mexican kitchens, we keep this in a jar in the fridge, and you just like randomly use it and cheat. You know, you're like, oh, add a little bit more chipotle and it'll taste wonderful, you know? So we're going to add a nice healthy tablespoon of chipotle, a little bit of oregano, and a piece of cinnamon. That in larger operations, you also tie with a little bit of kitchen twine or in a cheesecloth, and it will all cook in there. The sauce for the chicken have already been cooking for like 20 minutes or more. What we want to do is now we're going to empty that on top of the chicken pieces that we took out first. Remember? Let me make sure we get most of this good stuff in here. There we go. So now we have our chicken pieces covered in that tomatillo sauce. So we're just going to wait for them to start cooking. Low heat. So at lower heat, we cover it. Okay, so to this entomatado, or the chicken with the tomatillos cut up, remember, we are going to add fruits. It's going to be a fruity stew. In different parts of the country, they would add different fruits. To this one, we're adding some pears and some dried apricots. You can add dark raisins, a couple of, here it's very nice with sour cherries. Can be very, very nice. Dark raisins or raisins. Prunes are very common in Mexico. They don't use a lot of prunes here in the States, but basically that's it. We're going to add some very finely chopped leaves of epazote, which are going to finish the sauce. Okay, we basically want to incorporate everything. We're going to let this fruit boil for 15 more minutes until the chicken is completely cooked.